The modern family. Let us bridge the gap between generations. Let us shape up the modern family. The modern family. Join the discussion and give us your feedback. Live with Hatim Al-Abdussalam and Dr. Wa'il Al-Harasi. The modern family.
Please with us too. It's not a dream. This is so true. Feeling the peace all around. Seeing things we can never.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. All praise be to Allah, the Lord of the heavens and the earth, and peace and blessings be upon our beloved messenger, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. O Allah, grant us knowledge, wisdom and sincerity. Dear brothers and sisters, we salute you all with a salutation of the people of paradise. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to your program, The Modern Family. Thank you for tuning in on 90.4 FM. Today we have another show, another very interesting topic, and an honorable guest. But before that, I have to say this on air, Dr. Wael. Inni uhibbuka fillah.
Yeah, I can sense love is in the air today.
Today's topic is another type of love. And our honorable guest today is Sayyida Basma bint Fakhri Al-Saeed, who is the owner of Whispers of Serenity Clinic.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you,
I'm fine.
Sister Basma? How's everything?
I'm very happy I'm here.
We are more than happy to have you here, and we're honored. You're not new to the show.
No.
You've been with us last year.
Yes.
And we had a wonderful show last year, and I hope this year as well we'll have a fruitful discussion, and our audience will benefit from today's topic.
I would also like to say nuhibbukum fillah, and I appreciate anything you guys do and anyone else who wants to help anyone.
Thank you very much. It's good to remind ourselves always that Islam has brought us together and redefined love in a totally different way, irrespective of a lot of other considerations that people used to define love with. And alhamdulillah that we are Muslims and we need to practice this habit more and more. One thing that we didn't tell you is that since last year, people were asking us, who was that jolly guest of yours? Could you please bring her again? So to all those listeners, the jolly girl is back in the show.
I'm the jolly girl. That's my new name. I think you guys made me feel more lighter and jolly because we were talking very lightly. So I hope that happens again today.
Well,
yes.
Well, I think the whole point of the show is not to have a pre-prepared,
yes.
Thoughts or points to discuss. It's just leave it as a chat.
Yes.
And today, when we spoke this morning,
yes.
We were discussing about this, and we said, do we put points or we just let it go as it flows?
Let it flow organically.
Let it flow.
Yeah.
I actually did something to him this morning. He probably isn't happy about.
She was about to give me a heart attack. I texted her and I said, I'm just reminding you of today's show. And then she responded very simply, said, "Is it today?" And I was about to, to faint,
to cry,
because
admit it.
And then she made it up to me, and she said, "No. Then we're gonna meet today." And
I know. I wanted to see how his reaction would be.
Anyway, today's topic is, although it brings happiness to us to talk about love, about another way of love,
yes.
another type of love. However, behind it there is a very sad issue that we are also trying to tackle through this show and through this topic. Love is something that, let's say, 99% of parents feel towards their children.
Yes.
However, the percentage goes drastically down, in terms of people who actually show their children
and express
their love to them. It is probably something personal with some people, and sometimes it's cultural, especially with the Eastern culture, displaying affection, especially between men. A man and his elder boy, for example, or any boy, is not something that people would normally do. We have lived to see that lack of affection, lack of expressing affection to children could lead into very dangerous consequences. Yeah, and we are talking to probably suicide or
Drug addiction.
Drugs addiction.
Yes.
The initial title of the show was
Yes.
Love or Drugs.
Just to
So you-
remind our listeners, we're not talking about Valentine here.
No,
No,
absolutely.
And we'll explain that right now.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
Actually, I want to ask you guys a question first.
Mm-hmm.
What does love actually mean to both of you? Like, just in a few words, what is actually love?
We'll start with the guru.
Yes, you tell us.
Yeah.
See, I'm guru in giving love, not talking
Expressing-
about it.
talking about
So
love.
this is good because this is what we want to teach people, how to talk about it.
I
So there
I
you
really
go.
don't know how to express it. I think it's just a feeling of attraction that you feel towards somebody or something.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
this is the way I don't know if I've expressed it right or wrong, but you feel some sort of attraction. That sense sometimes could be confused with sympathy.
Yes.
You might be sympathetic with someone, and you think that you love them. Yeah,
It could
and
be.
Well-
our sound engineer is clapping for me, is applauding.
Well,
Thank you, Ayub.
Sister Basma said only a few words, not a full lecture.
Let him express his feelings. That's what we're doing.
You can send him to your clinic
So
and
he
then you can
express.
charge
This
him
is good.
for expressing his feelings.
How about you? What do you
Me,
think?
it's very simple. It's the air that I breathe.
Okay.
And normally my daughter at home, she gets annoyed that whenever I see her, after 5 minutes I want a hug and a kiss. So she
Okay.
said, "Ya akhi, how many times do you
خلاص
kiss and
تعبت
hug?"
يعني. She's
Yeah,
tired.
so to me it's an important thing.
Okay,
a very
it's
important thing.
interesting. So both of you said totally different things, and there is no actually one explanation to
Yeah.
what love is.
Okay.
Each one of us feels it in a different way, expresses it in a totally different way, and we're adults and we're expressing it this way. So can you imagine for children, how do they express it? They learn it from us.
Yeah.
So as we talked earlier on, we were saying that maybe it's cultural, or maybe it's the environment that you live in. So there's a lot of things that go into this word. Some people think love, automatically they think, as you said, Valentine or stuff like that. But love is loving God. That's the first love that there's nothing above that,
Yes.
obviously.
Yeah.
And then there's other love. So there's love for a mother to her child, or a father to a child. There's to a husband to his wife, a sister to a sister, or a brother to a brother, friends. So there's
To the
it's
neighbors, the
everything
community,
around us.
everything.
As you said, it's a feeling of some things or some person.
Yeah.
So it's a very vast and very it's huge, the meaning. And if you Google it, you won't find one meaning.
Okay.
Yeah. And that is what's very important to know.
So let's say, as we said earlier, we mentioned that loving children, and this is what would be the topic today, is the love shared between or exchanged between parents and their children, and vice versa.
Yes.
When does it start?
Okay.
When does it start? The feeling of love between a mother and a child, or a father and a child.
True. There's something, this will show what age I am. A long time ago, there was an advertisement on TV of Nido.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So there's so many advertisements of needs, but there was one that always I have this connection with. And if you remember, it was this mother looking after her child as a little boy, and then
and
it was
he
a very
grows.
sad song, and then and then the child grows up, and then in the end, anyway, he graduates. And there was just one point I was like, so why does the father only hang out with the child when they're happy? Like, that's the only part that I remember. But it was that advertisement's actually quite effective. And today, as a mother, it actually, I keep on remembering it all the time. And I think the love to your child starts from when it just starts, you start to know that there's a heartbeat in your, in your body or in your stomach. And it's weird, although it's just a little, like little fetus, little small thing, but you just want to see the heartbeat. You want to see it in the scan.
Yeah.
But really, it's tiny. It's a feeling. Because right now, I don't know if that child loves me or not. But it begins from just realizing. So my brain is telling me, wow, this is like amazing. It's a great love. And you said 99%, which yes, there could be that 1% that doesn't have that feeling. It's normal. Maybe for so many reasons it could happen.
Yeah.
But when you say, when does love start for a child, because we're not even going to talk about when does love start in your life, but for your child.
Yes, of course.
It is from the moment you know that child is in your stomach. Now, this is for a mother.
Yes.
Now, let's think about the father. The moment the father hears from the mother that, you know what, we're expecting a child. It could go both ways. It could go like,
Who's
oh
gonna pay the
my
bills?
God,
Not again.
what's happening? Oh, not again. I see your feeling. But it could go, I'm still young. I'm not ready. What's happening? He forgets that part.
Yeah.
Or it could go, wow, that's amazing.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. And things are going to be amazing. Going to be a full family. So it could go both ways.
Yeah.
So again, and then the environment has something to do with it.
And when does it start for the child?
For the child. Now, it starts from the child, which is quite interesting and quite scientific, because you guys would probably know this part, is from when the mother starts talking to the child. While the child is in the stomach. A lot of books say you should talk to your child, and people think, well, the child doesn't hear.
Yeah.
But some studies show that they actually feel and they hear. And the touch that the mother does or the father, they feel this. Now, when they feel it physically and emotionally, is the moment they come out to the world and they're put on their mother's chest.
Yes.
That's why they automatically say, put the baby on the mother's chest.
Yes.
And there's so much amazing videos we've seen lately about babies just holding on to the mother or crying or holding on to their twin if they have, a twin brother.
Yeah.
So that's the first feeling for a child that, I need that love. I was safe inside. Will you keep me safe outside as well?
It starts even from the womb itself. Sometimes, as a father, I would come back home.
Yeah.
And once I start talking to my wife, she immediately says,
It's moving.
It's moving, it's kicking.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And if you touch the stomach,
Yeah.
you feel more movement and
Yes.
more interaction.
Have you ever wondered maybe it's because of your voice?
Maybe it's loving the voice, Hatem.
Are you sure?
100%. 100%. Yeah. While in the womb, I don't think.
Which actually they hear, but they hear more the whoosh whoosh sound, of the placenta, which is apparently even a way of making the baby. You know how when the baby comes out and you go shh, that's the same sound, that white noise. So it's got to connect with that actually, which is quite interesting. But also it is your voice, it's your touch actually.
Okay.
Which
and
is quite interesting
some
too.
research was done to see if children actually could listen to more comprehensive things.
Yes.
Like music or Quran.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's actually...
And as soon as they were born,
Yeah.
if you play the same
They will go
music
quiet.
or the same surahs of the Quran
Yes.
to the child,
Yes.
They can
they
recognize.
stand still and they are quiet. Even if they cry, they will stop crying and they will listen.
Yes.
It is something
They're
familiar,
used to it.
and it calms them down.
Yes.
This is what the research says.
Yes,
And
that's
this is
true.
exactly what you have said, the sound of shh,
Yes.
which is a
the
sound
whoosh.
in the womb.
Yes.
And when you actually, I've seen the video you're talking
Yes,
about
yes.
in YouTube. When you cry, your child cries continuously, and you just imitate that sound in the ear, it
Yes.
keeps quiet.
Yes, and that
It's
doctor is
amazing.
amazing. It's called his book is called The New Kid on the Block. I've actually used it on my children when they were younger.
A new kid in the
So,
block.
Yes, it's a very good. It shows you the cries, everything.
So
So,
you've
the
been
beginning
do-
of love.
You've
Yeah.
been doing a lot of shh.
Whoosh.
And it starts. What does it mean to the child at that moment?
Mm-hmm.
Love itself. What does it mean to the child?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we could easily explain what it means to us.
Yes,
Yeah?
yes.
But to understand it from a child's point of view, from a
Yes.
baby's point of view,
Yes.
who cannot communicate yet,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, what does it mean?
I think for a baby it would mean she's my provider or she's my safety net. I mean, she's the person who'll keep me warm, who'll keep me safe like she kept me safe when I was inside the tummy, you know. So that would be the first thing for, infants, because they, at the time, they don't know words. They just know that this person, is going to hug me, is going to feed me, is going to change me. And this is their kind of love.
And the warmth.
And the warmth.
Yeah.
And some studies show that, okay, but what if we just take the child as a baby and we give him to someone? How will they know that
Yeah.
this is a different person? Yes, it's true. But that person also, if they show them love, they'll connect again. So at this age, it's kind of, it's kind of weird at the same time, quite interesting, because some other studies show that no, the baby does remember certain smells, and as they grow up, they go, well, there's something in my childhood that's not clear.
Flashbacks.
It's quite interesting when you come to that. But again, for them, it's more like the need to feel safe, the need to feel that somebody's looking after me, feeding me, and keeping me warm.
Okay.
I just have a query. Some people might claim that we don't have feelings. We're cold-blooded.
Yes.
And especially towards their children. Is it possible that people might not have any sort of feelings within themselves? Or is it that the feeling is there and they did not put an effort to find out or to get it out and to express it to others?
Learning, these are things that we learn. As we learn about, we see it in our surroundings. It's there in us. It's always it's in everybody. But how does it go on? How do we understand what it is? It's from learning from people around us, from learning from our parents, our mother, our father, our uncle, or whoever we grow up with, our granny, So if we don't see it, in our environment, it might be a bit harder than the person who's actually lived in that environment. And then so you will hear that thing of, oh, this person is cold-blooded, or that person probably went through a harsh childhood that he just thinks there's nothing called love. And you've probably heard this before. There's nothing called love. This is all a myth and it's not real. But if you ask that person some questions, you'll understand why he or she feels that way.
So the environment and the background that you are raised in plays a big role.
Definitely.
What about inheritance? When you inherit a particular behavior from your parents. So if you're raised in a household where your parents never expressed love, okay, so you would raise your children the same way, you would express the same feelings that your parents had expressed when you were younger.
So see, it's not genetic. It's actually, as you said, it's inherited, which we said a few minutes ago. So it's what they see. So it's not like you're born and you don't have love in you, or don't have sadness or don't have anger. It's things that we all have in us. We're born with this whole package, but then what's purchased, as we, if we were going to say it that way. So what have we learned around us? Have we learned to continue being angry or sad or loved?
But
that's the kind of thing.
The other thing is, for the sake of argument, others would say that you'd have 5 children born from the same family.
Yes.
And each one of them has undergone the same experience with the same parents. But one of them will have excessive love, the other one will be cold, the other one will be shy, and so on.
Yes. And that's what a lot of parents will say. They'll say, we brought them up well. What happened? Why is this one gone odd and the other one's fine? We have to believe in one thing, that this person also is born with their own personality. There's like a percentage that's Hatim's own personality. Okay? And then there is all the other stuff. So you do what you can, but there is some part of it that might just be that person. That's how they're born. So as you said, he might have so many siblings, but each one of them are not the same. We have this saying in the Arabic, which, your fingers on your hand are not the same size or not the same. It is true.
So
and it could be
that part of you.
Yes, there's a little part that is actually you.
What you have learned, and
okay, now this part of you can overcome if there's nothing that's actually made it get better or worse. Sometimes. So let's say there is a part of you that's already not really emotional or stuff like that. Sometimes the environment can enhance it or not enhance it, but still that part could sometimes, in a way, without the parents noticing, a little bit of overcoming.
Dr. Wael, we're getting free therapy here today, so take advantage of Basma
as much as you can. That, and
I'm doing my homework really.
And let's the listeners also have a chance of free therapy or consultation.
Oh, I didn't know this is going to happen this way.
So please, I would like to remind our listeners to call us on our numbers 24602058. That's 24602058. The topic today is about another type of love. It's about love between parents and their children. 2 things you mentioned earlier about loving children. One is that the child would love their parents or at a very early stage because of what they provide to them. They provide a service, and in exchange they would love them. That love would come in the form of attachment. I believe this sort of theme continues throughout the life of that child until they become adults. However, few things will change here and there, but
Yes.
the concept would be exactly the same. For example, a child would grow to be a toddler. You would give the toddler what they want, what they need, when they need it, and their love to you as a parent would grow. Yeah. I think we have a caller, Hatim.
Yeah, okay. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
How are you, brother?
I'm good, brother. How are you? Ramadan Kareem to you.
Ramadan to you as well. Ramadan Kareem as well to you. Yes, who is this?
This is Dr. Debashish from Salalah.
MashaAllah, we spoke to you yesterday and today you're listening to us again. Thank you very much for calling back.
To you people.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Yes,
Y'all are really coming up with wonderful sessions.
Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. I hope you like the shows and the topics that we are discussing. And,
they are mind-blowing. You guys are simply doing a fantastic job.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We appreciate your enthusiasm and your encouragement as well. What do you have for us today, Doctor?
Yes, I just wanted to share in a small aspect. We were discussing about, of course, Our Lady, she so beautifully explained the genesis of maternal love.
Yes.
And the genesis of paternal love and how it starts. Because I, being a pediatric surgeon, this is what I've been doing for the last 25 years.
Yeah, mashallah.
But the only point of view that I would like to slightly differ is about the environmental factor, wherein we spoke about some parents being unable to express their love. Now, this is where I disagree. There can be no parent in this world, no mother, who would not love the child she has born in her womb for 9 months and delivered. A child out of her wedlock. Okay?
Yes.
And there can be again no father who doesn't love his child. The question is that the rigorous and the hardships of life sometimes take away your powers of flowery, wonderful, soft and emotional expressions.
Okay. Point
But it doesn't
taken.
take away the love that is very, very much intactly present at the bottom of your heart.
Yes.
Because I am yet to see a mother who doesn't shed a tear when a child is in pain.
What about mothers or fathers who give away their children for adoption and they don't even want to know about them?
Well, brother, that is only prevalent in those societies who have never understood the value of human relationship.
Yeah, it means that it happens, yeah?
No, wait. Let me clarify that. See, in all those societies which are governed by a culture and a religious code of conduct, where a union between a man and a woman is considered as something holy and auspicious, you will never find that society generating children of unknown origin.
Yeah. So
And
this is the 1%.
When the society goes advanced to that, this we are talking, the commonest prevalent area is the Western Hemisphere.
Okay. This is the 1% we were talking about. People could be with mental illness. People could be on substances. Yeah. Or people in those cultures. That is the 1% that our delightful guest here was talking about and referring to. But I do agree with you that no one on their rightful mind would not love or have any sense of feeling towards their children. Totally agree. And thank you very much for bringing up that point. Thank you, and stay tuned. Thank you very much, Dr. Devesh. Thank you for bringing up that point. So, Dr. Basma.
Yes.
What do you,
inshallah, one day.
Inshallah. Yeah.
Any comments on the...
As you clearly said it in the end, which is really good, is we said that 1%. There is some people who are on substance abuse. There's some people who have been abused as children. They don't they haven't lived in a healthy environment. Maybe they didn't want a child because they feel that child's going to be abused again. So they don't feel that love because they don't know, they haven't learned it.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a woman who had a child out of wedlock, and maybe she thinks this is not a good thing. So there is that 1%, male or female, that sadly will not feel those feelings of the normal, mother or father.
Yeah.
That is something we've seen in our societies. We've seen all around the world. It's not about, here or in India or in America. There is that 1%.
Yes.
Because, we go back to that point where we're humans. We're not perfect. And even though this is an instinct that every mother has, some mothers can actually not feel that part. Because it's been so numb for so many years.
But I think also many families who are normal, who have not been through these circumstances, sometimes the way they love, the other party feels that it's not love.
Yes.
It's hate.
That is a different kind of... Yeah,
so
aspect.
it
different
exists.
Yes.
interpretation of it.
Yes.
A different interpretation of it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that love does not exist.
Yes.
I was about to say something as well about the exchange of love and what it means, attachment versus, giving a service to the child.
Yes.
But I think we'll discuss that after the break. We'll have a very short break.
Okay.
And we'll come back. So, dear listeners, our lines are open today to call us on 24602058, 24602058.
I think we have a caller.
We have a
before
caller.
the
We'll
break.
take a very quick call and then we'll go for a break.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
How are you, sister?
Alhamdulillah. I am calling to ask, how do you deal, especially with us Omani families, we are big families, and you have a number of kids, and how can you unconditionally give equal love to all your children?
Yes.
Especially if you have, when their ages are close, they fight, they argue, and we as parents, we're in the middle, shattered, and so how could you give that unconditional love in a household with many children, and how do you deal with children or your kids that fight together and argue together?
Okay, thank you very much, sister, for your question. We'll address your question after the break, inshallah. Thank you very much.
Very, very valid question. We'll answer it after the break, so stay tuned.
The Modern Family. The Modern Family.
The top 5 rules for raising great kids. 1, regulate your own emotions. 2, stay connected with your child, because that's the only way you'll ever have any influence with your child. 3, emotion coach, so you help your child with difficult emotions, because when kids can regulate their emotions, they can regulate their behavior. 4, set limits. Have high expectations, but do it with empathy. See your child's point of view, so they feel understood at the same time. And finally, dare not to discipline. Guide your child, but don't feel a need to punish. Punishment always erodes your relationship with your child and actually doesn't get better behavior.
The Modern Family. The Modern Family.
Dear listeners, welcome back. And we'd like to remind you of our numbers, 24602058. That's 24602058. I think we have another call. Assalamu alaikum.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, sister?
Alhamdulillah.
Who is this?
This is Sabra al-Hikmani. Thank you for the show.
Sabra, how are you?
And I'm fine, thank you.
Alhamdulillah.
First of all, I would like to welcome your visitor.
Hello, Sabra. How are you? I know Sabra.
Yeah.
She's
Very nice to
actually
hear
one
your
of the
voice.
people who was studying with us, and she made me want to study this. So Sabra Hikmani is mashallah alayha.
Yeah. But now I'm just calling. I'm having some questions here.
Yeah.
In terms of expressing love, when we raise our children, how can we balance in terms of expressing our love and not to get it to an extent that we spoil them sometimes? So, like being overprotective, the balance of love, when we raise our children, especially our children. Some children, they might be affected by, the over of love, and the element of balance in it. How can we, evaluate that as parents all the time when we raise our children?
Thank you very much, Sabra. Do you have another question, or this is the only one?
No, thank you. This is the only one for today.
Thank you very much. We have another caller. Assalamu alaikum.
We lost the call.
We lost the
the
caller.
love.
Okay, we'll address the first question from the sister that says that we have a household full of children, and how do you distribute love equally among them? How do you dedicate time for each and every one of them?
I'm not going to lie, it is a challenge. It is a challenge because you're not just multitasking, you're multitasking,
Yeah.
with more than one personality, more than one child. But that doesn't mean that it's impossible.
Yeah.
Now, some of the times, a lot of people say, but it's so noisy and I can't concentrate. Each one is fighting and each one is talking, so I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
We usually tell them it's good to have a kind of plan, okay? That doesn't mean that we have to go with the plan, but a kind of plan. So it's, okay, look, I'm going to tell you guys that these people are pointing at me because there's a phone call. So I'm going to continue after
Yes,
this phone
we'll
call.
let you continue. And there would come a time where we stop taking
This
calls.
is like children. You have to see who wants to do what.
So we'll take a call. Assalamu alaikum.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Ramadan Kareem to all.
Ramadan Kareem to you as well. Thank you very much.
Sir, first of all, I really, appreciate today you have touched a very interesting topic.
Thank
So
you.
my, special regards to you all.
Thank you very much. Who's with us? Who's your good name, please?
My name is Fahim.
Fahim.
Yes. So my question is, sir, I fail to understand, in fact, I have read so many books and I have consulted so many people regarding why father is always attached to the daughter and the son is attached to the mother.
Okay.
So this is my question. I wanted, really a good and good answers, which brings me a clear, kind of satisfaction.
Inshallah, we will address your question, inshallah. Thank you
you,
very
sir.
much.
Thank you very much. Thank
Fahim. I would like just our listeners to give us a break a little bit. So thank you very much for your interactions and your calls. Let's give our sister here, Basma, some time to answer.
Okay, the first one you have not completed.
So this is
about
good
the
because
busy
this goes
household.
with what's going on. Okay, so we were saying that one of the options could be that we try and plan how we work it out. Okay, some people say, how can we plan? It's love and it's family. What is this planning thing? Everything is so complicated these days. A long time ago, people had so many children. Everything is going well. But the question is, did everything go well? We don't know. And maybe it did. But now, as people from this generation, because maybe we read more or we're more into bringing up by the book kind of thing, sometimes we also mix up ourselves. So we have to combine two together. Do you want to
I would like to talk from experience.
Yeah, that would be lovely.
With 5 children. I'm a father of 5 children.
Mashallah.
4 boys and 1 girl. And I pray to Allah to give me more.
Inshallah. Ya Rab.
I think your answer is...
I didn't finish answering though.
Yeah,
Okay.
because you talked about planning how to love them.
Yeah, but I didn't say how yet. So
You
let's
didn't
go
say
with
how,
yours.
no problem.
Okay.
Just when you said planning, I thought, whoa, I don't do that.
Yeah.
So I do it spontaneously, and I think it just comes naturally.
Yeah.
And once you have the belief in you that love to a child is unconditional, regardless of how many you have of them, each one of them is an individual that has rights and you have duties towards that child.
Yes, so that is something
and
which...
to be fair,
Yeah.
and the concept of justice and fairness.
Yes.
And being honest, yes, they are totally different, with 5 different people, yeah? And you give them equal love, because you look at the bright side and the positive of each child of them, and don't forget they're just children.
Yes.
And I love them so much.
But I think each
and
one of
every
them
one of
needs
them.
a special type of love.
Maybe what people should ask about, or maybe asking about, is I love something different about each child.
This is what I wanted to get to. Thank you
Yes.
very much. So we
You're
have...
welcome.
Yes, thank you. You can go on with what you want to say.
So it's just that I never think, and see, some people are very calculating, they like planning,
Yes.
and some of them are very spontaneous.
Yes.
Maybe people need to plan, but our ancestors probably
Didn't.
hardly ever plan. And I think people like me, for example, I don't plan these things. I just grab all of them and love them equally.
Okay, so when we talk about the plan, so now actually I'm going to talk about why I said planning.
And
when I meant
up.
planning, that's fine. It's, actually, this is good. You know, talking about real life stories is actually very interesting because you have something to work with. When I meant planning, I didn't mean like planning as in you are from 4 to 5 o'clock. Okay, your schedule is this is when I'm gonna love you. And no, you're a bit younger, you get a little bit less. I didn't mean that. Yeah, I meant that planning is exactly what you said. It's the same word, huh? But because maybe the word planning made it sound...
Yes.
I apologize.
It's all right.
Okay.
Apology
So,
accepted.
you know what is good? So each one of our children, as you have said, have a different personality. And each one of them shines in their own way. So let's say one of them is very emotional, maybe one of them is very spontaneous. I can connect with them on these things. This is how I meant the planning. So let's say if I know there's an issue that happened or something at school, I'd know that, okay, most likely this child will feel that way. And the other, just the child feeling that I understand them, even though maybe I don't understand the whole story properly, but just being there and listening to them because I know what type of child that one is enough. Is love enough? Now, some people have like around 10 children.
Yes.
And we have to be a bit realistic. Yes, we do love them unconditionally, but unless you're like 100% or kind of Houdini-ish, you will be able to give all of them exactly the amount of same love. And this is I think it's a kind of it's a lovely battle, and it's a good kind of thing to do to test yourself. But I doubt it'll be exactly the same. I could be wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong or right.
I totally understand where you come from. When you said that, I immediately remembered.
Which is good. I want to know what you...
I remembered the companions of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Just imagine hundreds or thousands of companions.
Yes.
What they say is that each one of us
felt that
the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, loved him the most.
Okay, let's go to that point.
Yes.
Prophet Muhammad. Yes, and we all aspire to be like him.
Yes.
Is it easy or is it difficult?
It's a challenge. Nothing is easy in life.
Okay, hello. And this is the word I wanted you. This is what I meant. It's a challenge.
Yes.
So this is what I meant when I said it's not easy, but it's a challenge, and maybe it's a nice challenge.
And you can master
and maybe because the challenge comes because of the you need to kick in discipline as well.
Exactly.
And
like
you,
I think
you,
the lady
you can't balance between discipline
you can't just
and
go
love.
everybody like for the lady who called actually said sometimes it becomes too overwhelming, sometimes it becomes too noisy, which discipline also is. It's like planning. It's a big, let's say, big word.
Yes.
But you can kind of know, okay, this is what I need to do just to balance our life properly. And that mother herself and that father also need time from themselves to be able to look after all these children. So if I'm hectic already at work with my family, and then I come home and the children are also hectic, this is where people go, oh my God, I don't even know if I love them anymore. Of course they love them. But it's just overwhelming, and this is the word.
That you brought up the amount, the factor of time.
Yes.
Because I wanted to say that loving your children is not about more time spending with them. It's about the quality of the span.
Exactly.
It's the quality. So if I have 10 children.
Yes.
And
it
if
was 10 hours, for example, if you did an hour.
If I wanted to spend, I can only afford spending 5 minutes per child. If I make, correct me if I'm wrong, if I make that 5 minutes count, and make it quality 5 minutes, it's more than the 10 hours I spend with a single child.
Yes, I totally agree with that. And one of the things that are very important, I think, for children is for them to see me in the morning. And that's very important if I can. Or to also see them before when they come back from school, or before they go to sleep. Like these are, of course, there's so many, times. But these are key points in a children's, life. For example, when they have events, these are key moments. I have to try and be there. When they say, Mommy, I've done something today, I want you to listen. That is love. Okay, but then your brother wants to. You try. So these are things that even as a child grows up, they will say, but you know what? My mom used to do this, or my dad used to do this. It's different when they say, I don't remember even one day when my dad came to do. I don't remember even one day when my dad. This is what we hear, and I think we hear this when they become teenagers. or 20s for those age. They never did anything for me. They suddenly get amnesia of what has happened because they're so upset with life that they've forgotten even the thing that my mom was able to, cuddle me one day. I mean, that is love.
Absolutely.
It doesn't have to be also extreme, like every 2 minutes love and hugging, which is nice, but it's one of those things.
Okay, I think we need to take Sabra's question now.
Yes.
She says that how to express our love so that we don't spoil them. The element of balance.
And it's good because we've slided into that slowly.
And
now,
is there such a thing as too much love to give a child? Is there such a thing that I'm spoiling them with love?
I don't think there is such thing as spoiling them with love. There is spoiling them, basically just spoiling them
with something else.
Love is something. Spoiling them is a lot of things. It's, love is a bit totally. Love is not basically materialistic. Materialistic. I mean, that spoil could be just materialistic. For example, okay, let's say our children are. Let's say we tell our child, if you do this, this, and this, I will give you a present at the end of the week.
Yes.
Okay. This is making them do stuff, which is good. It's teaching them how life is. If you do good, you get good, kind of thing. When I give them the present, first I have to go with my law. I've told them at the end of the week. I don't break it and give it to them after 2 days.
Yeah.
For example, I go with what I've said. Okay. This has got to do with spoiling also. Some people go, oh, but they did it. Oh, but I have to give it to them. This is like the child is clever, and they're like, oh, I'll just do it 2 days. They'll give it to me anyway. Okay. At the end of the week, I give them a present. Doesn't have to be. Of course, a kid, we won't give them a house, but it doesn't have to be something extreme. It can be something.
Kinder surprise.
Even Kinder surprise is a good thing. Chocolate is a good. So little things like that. Now, the other thing about spoiling, the word spoiling, okay? Some parents do spoil their children, sadly. They let them do everything they want to do. And so the child doesn't appreciate what they have because they get everything easily.
Yeah. But that is not love.
That is not love. That's spoiling.
Yes.
But some parents seem to think that is love. And some kids seem to think if the parent doesn't do it, then they don't love me.
Oh, you don't hold your children accountable for their actions.
Exactly. So when the child grows up and after they grow up and they have their own children, then they realize, wait a minute, I think my mom actually had a point. She did love me, but I didn't see it at the time. So a lot of things that parents do, it does mean they love them, but the kids sometimes, the interpretation is not good. And what we need to do, so we don't show them that we're spoiling them or we don't show them that we haven't loved you, is actually talk to them about these things.
Yeah.
So I would tell Sabra, when she says, how do we not spoil them? Just limit, balance. We don't have to overdo things. We don't have to win them by giving them stuff or by letting them just do what they want to every time.
Yeah.
We can win them in other ways by talking to them, appreciating them. And when we tell them, like say, we tell them off, we don't just tell them off and then we let them, go. We actually have to bring them and explain why we're telling them off. And this is love. But they don't see it that way.
I'm smiling because when you said show them appreciation, I used to do that with my child, my first boy.
Yeah.
Every time he comes with a good marks at school, oh, mashallah, shatar. Dad, you always say shatar, shatar.
No,
you don't give me anything.
See? So this is where you're kicking that talk.
Yes.
Then he goes, my dad just gives me that talk all the time.
Okay, we go to Fahim's question. He
Yes.
says, why are fathers attached to daughters and mothers are attached to sons?
This is something that a lot of people seem to think it will happen 100%. There's a lot of elements around this. Not every daughter is attached to her dad. Okay, it depends how that dad is. If the dad is an angry dad or a dad that locks up the child, that kind of, for a girl, the daughter will not talk to the dad,
But
for
the
example.
norm.
The norm is that I think, from my point, and this is just my point of view, that usually dads want to look after their daughters because they feel they're girls and they're precious and they're not like the boys that can do everything. So I need to keep her safe and keep her, that kind of jewel that nobody can, hurt or touch. Yes. Now, when it comes to the mom and the son, because the mom also sees that the daughter, for example, if it was a daughter, that they'll have the dad, they feel like, some of the mothers feel like, okay, what about the boy? The boy doesn't have anything. And also, the mother could also feel that this boy is the person who could look after me, because he's gonna grow as a man, and he's the one who's gonna carry me and, you know, defend me. So that could be the reaction. And then we have the scientific reaction is girl, boy, boy, girl kind of thing. Because even in that, some of this, you know, psychological stuff, which, okay, Freud did mess up a lot of stuff, but there was some stuff that actually do make a lot of sense. And it's also, you know, the attraction between it's different genders. It also in child and father and mother, it could be that part as well. So there's two kind of ideas.
I think girls do express their feelings towards their dads.
Yeah, and they're softer.
Yeah, they're softer because I think the child, whether it's a boy or a girl, they bond with the mother since the womb.
Yes.
But then the father becomes a stranger.
Yeah.
So the only way to know the father, to get to know the father, is to get closer and to be emotional.
Yeah.
But when it comes to boys, like for example, my boy at home, Abdurrahman, the way he expresses his love is through wrestling. You know, we punch each other, we kick each other, we bite, and we, you know, and he feels love.
Yes.
But my daughter Rodena, she feels like, no, I need a hug, I need a kiss.
And you like that part because it's the soft part.
Yeah,
it's the soft part. You know, because you're a male, you feel this is a nice soft part.
And sometimes the boy goes and expresses the same love to his mother by kicking her and, you know, punching her. And
I don't think she loves
what
that.
Sort of love is this?
It's a very awkward kind of love.
But when he cries, he runs to his mom. He doesn't come to me.
Yes, that it's very interesting because, like, I have twin boys and I have a little girl, and these twin boys react very differently. You know, like one of my twin boys once, when he was a bit younger, I actually asked him, do you think that your dad is the one who actually delivered you into this life? And he actually told me, yes, I came from Baba's tummy. That's how much he loves his dad. While the other twin loves his dad as well, but he would be the kind of, if I go out, Mom, when are you coming back? Where are you going? He doesn't actually say, I'll miss you, but he'll say, where are you coming back? Where are you going? While the other one who loves his dad actually would say, I missed you. When are you coming back? I mean, it's a different. So again, it goes back to the personality.
Okay, I think we have another call. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dr. Wael and Hatim.
How are you,
أهلا
brother?
وسهلا. كيف الحال سعيد؟
Oh, mashallah, you remember me, yeah?
Absolutely, my boss.
Oh my God. Not anymore.
Must be showing you the love.
See, Saeed, you're making sure that Wael is in the radio station and not messing around somewhere else.
No, I can't. He's in safe hands with you, actually.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah.
I wish you never said that to him. Yes, Saeed.
Thanks for having Dr. Bismillah for today. I normally listen here with the Qahwat al-Sabah.
Yes.
I do follow you from time to time with Qahwat al-Sabah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. I have few points actually here. Going back to the beginning of the show, you mentioned definitions for love.
Yes.
Or Dr. Bismillah said there aren't specific definitions for love itself. That's true. From my side, if you go back to Quran or go back to Sunnah, you'll find there hints which will help in defining the love. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قُلْ إِن كُنْتُمْ تُحِبُّونَ اللَّهَ فَاتَّبِعُونِي يُحْبِبُكُمُ اللَّهُ وَيَغْفِرْ لَكُمْ. Yes? See here, love here in this sense means follow. Follow. You need to follow. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, if you love Allah, follow me, the Prophet.
Follow the Prophet. Yeah.
And in return, Allah will love you. Okay. It means love also is a following the orders of
obedience.
The person. Obedience, yes. Obedience the person. It's part of the love. This is the love between Allah and the creatures. In this sense.
Yeah.
And also, Rasul said, I don't know if you remember the story when one of the companions who wanted to get married, and the Prophet asked him, have you seen her? He said, no. And the Prophet upon him ordered him, go and see her. It's أحرى يؤدم بينكم. I don't know the definition of أحرى يؤدم means love, I think so. Something like that. So here in this case, the definition, seeing the person also creates love.
Yeah. Okay.
The other point I want to mention here, you talk about the family today, love in the families and so forth.
Yeah.
I would really like to say that love starts before the womb itself. Dr. Wael mentioned, or Hatim, I think so, mentioned that love starts when during the womb or pregnancy period.
Yes.
I think it starts even before.
And how is
said,
that?
And this was said by Dr. Yusuf Al-Awfi, I think so, before 2 days or 3 days. He mentioned that the love starts before by choosing the right partner.
Choosing the spouse.
Yes, from the start, yeah. Choosing the right partner or the right spouse for the future. At that beginning, it's really that starts from there. And this is also confirmed by the Quran. In Surah Al-Rum, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً. So, this is an ingredient for happy family, actually.
Yes,
an ingredient for happy family. If we have these elements, the family and the children will feel the love, will experience the love, and will practice the love even in their life.
I totally agree with the parts that you're saying.
Thank you, Saeed. Thank you very much for your call. Thank you for these comments, and we'll address them, inshallah, with Basma here.
Okay, shukran, Dr.
Shukran. Yeah, Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, I agree with those points. And obviously, when you choose your spouse, you're thinking because in the future you want to have a happy family. That is 100%.
Yeah.
And actually, you choose your spouse because you think, okay, I wonder how he'll be with our children and all that stuff. But here we were talking about the child.
Yeah.
And that's a bit different. And I'm sure in the Quran it does. You know, I don't recall, but I'm sure there is. But it's a bit different. The points are a bit different here. So when we talk about follow also, yes, but that we were talking about
it's
the beginning.
Different type of love and different type of relationship.
So if we were talking now today, we were talking about love between, a wife and a husband, yes. This is a different kind of, I would 100%. But this is about children, that how do I feel, with that child? How does that child feel from the beginning? He doesn't know about the father and all that. He's in the womb. So when does that love start?
And sometimes children are disobedient, especially at a very early age, when they are a little bit rebellious and sometimes do not follow orders strictly. It doesn't mean that they don't love us.
I think they have not been introduced to the concept of discipline and order. They're experimenting.
Following
things.
Being obedient is a consequence of love, or is one of the consequences.
And the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the people did follow him because he was very loving and he was very true, but they were adults they're even the children did, but not a baby in a womb. That's the only point.
Yeah.
But for sure, the points are totally valid.
Here, the other thing, the second point that Brother Saeed has mentioned is seeing them, and I think this is essential, where parents get to give the opportunity for the children to see them, to spend time with them.
Yes.
So if you're a traveling parent, you come once a month or once a week, and your children don't get to see you, then that starts fading. The love part starts fading.
And what's interesting? A lot of mothers. So there's a lot of ladies who look after their children where their husbands are away in the field, in deserts. So they would tell me, what? I think my children love my husband more, even though he doesn't spend more time. Okay, so I would be like, why? Why do you feel that way? Because I'm the one at home the whole time, so I will tell them off, or I would be she'd be like the bad policeman.
Yeah.
And the father will come for the weekend, so he's
missing
like happy
them.
and jolly. He'll give them all that love, and they think, I wish he would stay because but we don't know if he stays longer. So also, everything works two ways.
Yeah.
And it's lovely to have a father who actually comes back and gives that love instead of coming back and saying, what, I've worked all week and I'm tired. Then this is a disappointment. Children, especially boys, with their fathers, also girls, but boys, they want their father to be there because they want to be like them. As the girl grows up, she loves her father, but let's say she'll want to be how her mother is, so how she's dressed up, how she cooks, and the boys want to follow the father. So he's like the biggest role model for them.
Yeah.
And also the girl inspires that her husband in the future becomes like her father, because this is how I grew up, this is how I saw love in our house.
Yeah.
Whilst maybe that other person says, I didn't see any of this stuff that you're talking about. And that could be a clash. Then that part which Ustad Saeed talked about could kick in.
Yeah. Thank you very much for all these clarifications. I would like to go to a point that we mentioned centuries ago when we started the show.
Yes.
It's about, again, attachment of the child from receiving love by giving care and all of that. And we said that while the child grows, that sort of the dynamics are exactly the same.
Yes.
Few things will change, but still the child will keep loving parents because they provide to them security and care.
You know what it is like? Sorry, I don't want to cut. It's like investing. You know, so a long time ago, I heard this person say, one should invest in their children. And honestly, when I was younger, I was like, what is this? Everything is like money. This is what I thought. Money, how? Yeah, they're going to give the child money and this child's going to grow up. This is what I thought it was.
Yes.
It wasn't that. It was investing in the child by loving him and showing him what is good.
Depositing love.
So that child, when that child grows up, they are a good investment to their family and as their children grow up. For me, I understood it totally, it's investment, money-wise. But this is exactly what we're doing. We're investing in them so that they live, a happy life in the society. And therefore, they will be a good investment also for their children.
And I think the return of this investment will be when we grow older.
Yes.
And they will start taking care of us.
Exactly. So
and
it's like around full circle.
Yes, but before that, what I'm trying to lead through this conversation here is that if this love means we need to give them care, and they will love us in terms of being attached to us, if the child grows and the sense of independence also grows in the child, we are in danger of losing that attachment if we stop giving them affection, showing affection, and giving them the love and tender and care and support they need. We're talking about children even starting from the age of 10, when they're becoming a little bit more sensitive, and then towards their teens, when they're becoming extremely sensitive, and that attachment could easily detach, and things could be wrongly interpreted. The child could easily say, my mother, my father does not love me.
They don't love me.
We'll take a very quick call, and then we'll break.
We'll take a break, but I think after the break we need to start discussing the other point of view of today's show. Consequences.
Yes.
So let us take a short break, and we would like to remind our listeners that they can call us on 24602058. Let's take a break.
The Modern Family.
The way that we can help our children build their self-esteem is through a non-judgmental approach. Some examples of this are, if a child shows you their painting, instead of saying, beautiful job, that's a beautiful painting, we can say, wow, I see so many colors, or tell me about your painting, or what do you like about your painting? If it's activities, instead of saying, good job, we can say, you climbed up and slid down all by yourself. It took a lot of work to build that tower, or you did it. By doing this way, we change it from the focus on the end product to we notice the process, we notice the motivation, and we describe what we see. And in this way, kids can own their own experiences. It takes a lot of practice to do this, and you can say it with a lot of enthusiasm. And in doubt, you can just say, wow! Because children don't want to be judged. They want to be noticed. They want to know that you have seen them for what they're doing and that you encourage them to own their own experiences. This leads to a sense of mastery, which is the cornerstone of self-esteem.
The Modern Family.
Dear listeners, welcome back to The Modern Family. You can call us on 24602058. That's 24602058. And we're here with Basma Al-Saeed. Now we have to look at the other side of the coin, Basma. What is the consequences of the lack of love?
Now, consequences could be from minor to very high. Okay, so when I say minor, obviously I'm not belittling it, but it's minor for, let's say, they're not hurting themselves.
Relatively speaking.
Yes, exactly. They're not hurting themselves, let's say, physically as well as mentally. Although mentally is usually more stronger than physically, the hurt. So the consequences could be this child could grow up angry. This child could be showing anger at school.
Just hold on before you continue to that.
Yes.
Tell us what do parents do in such a way they don't show that, they don't express that love.
Okay, so what do parents do?
Give us examples.
So let's say some parents won't actually even say that, we love you and all that stuff, that kind of thing. That's the beginning. Yeah, the child will feel, why don't I hear stuff like this? While my friend tells me that their dad and their family does this, that, and the other. Also, it could be between siblings. So the mother will say, I don't love you, but I love him more. So that person will also feel, why doesn't she love me and she loves my brother or my sister? And then they might even get angry with the brother and the sister as they grow up. And the mother doesn't notice. She's just doing that because she thinks that maybe this will make him work harder or, that kind of stuff. Now, also, there's a very, very important point. Before showing our children, us at home as parents, are we actually showing the children that, look, me and your dad, look, we love each other, we're under this roof. That is a very vocal point, So a lot of people say, yeah, me and my husband, we're not okay together, but we're okay with our children. But what are you teaching them here? You're teaching them it's okay to live with each other and not to love each other.
Yeah.
So this is also, the child is learning this stuff. Even if they're little, even if they're in KG or something like that, they can actually go and tell their friends, you know what, I don't know, but my parents actually don't talk to each other. It's normal. So then the others would say, oh, then they don't love each other. So it's a lot of, these are like little things that start.
Little bricks together.
Now, there's a lot of parents who think if they tell their children that they love them, that the children become weak and they won't be tough, and everything will break them. So let's not tell them because they'll become too like jelly beans.
But if we go back to what Brother Saeed, the caller, has said, that the Prophet ﷺ used to express this love to his daughters and to his grandchildren.
Exactly.
And for example, with Fatima, he used to kiss her between her eyebrows.
Yes.
And that continued even when she grew up.
Yes. But a lot of people don't, sadly, think that is like, no, we just have to make them tough, because of culture-wise. So the boy, for example, would be an example where they won't tell him a lot about love and all that. They'll just say, you're a man, you have to be strong, leave all these silly little things.
I'm glad
the girl is the same thing, but a bit less. So they'll show her a little bit more. But at a certain age, let's say she's a teenager, now you're a woman. That's it. Now you need to toughen up. So again, and some people are okay with their kids as when they're toddlers or in elementary, and then they think that at a certain age they should just stop, which doesn't make any sense. I mean, as we were talking in the break, you want up till today for your mom and dad to tell you that they love you.
Yeah.
So it goes on forever and ever and ever, and they want to hear it. They want to hear it from us. They're at that age now where they want to feel, that they're also loved and appreciated.
The worst part, I feel that when parents tell other people that they love you while you're not present.
Yes.
But they don't say it in front of you.
That happens quite a lot. Or they talk within each other about, our son so-and-so, he's amazing and I love him. But when that son comes, and the dad doesn't show him. So then the mother tells the son, you know what? Your dad actually loves you. And the son's like, huh? I've not seen that. No, but we talk about you. I'm like, it doesn't make...
I wasn't here.
It wasn't there. And it happens quite a lot. Because the dad thinks if they tell the child or the mother, then, they'll take it for granted. They won't respect me.
Them.
And, they'll think I'm soft now. So there's a lot of things that add up to feeling loved and could add up to being in bad consequences.
Yes. Speaking of consequences, we'll continue with the points that you were just mentioning. The minor consequences and the major consequences.
So major consequences, let's say those were little ones where they start, being angry with life as little children. They start not doing well in school just to spite them. You know what? I'm not going to do well because they don't love me. Who am I doing it for? That stuff. As they grow up, they start having different kind of love around them. And what love could that be? It could be your peers. Okay, they love me because they told me we should go out and do this, that, and the other. Or they love me. They're the real people who love me. My parents don't love me. My friends love me. That kind of idea.
Yeah.
And then what happens here is the same age is teaching each other stuff, and that group could go, well, we're the same. Because our parents don't love us, let's go and do something to show them what they've done to us. So it becomes here, hate and anger. It could go to consequences of stealing, of smoking, of taking drugs, of vandalism, a lot of things. And why do they do that? It goes back to love as well. Sometimes to show them, look at me, look what's happening, and you're the fault because you didn't love me. Sometimes, I'm not going to say all the time, because sometimes parents actually show the love all the way through, but still that one little thing they didn't say, which they didn't notice, could make the child go into venues.
Do you think it's the majority of teenagers who go into drugs, go into drugs because of lack of love and affection in the family? They feel that they are
ununderstood.
People don't understand them. They don't show them. Maybe they love them, but maybe they feel that they don't see any love and affection. Is it true that this is one of the main drivers into drugs, especially in girls?
Even while growing up, normally you're compared with your cousins.
Yes, always. Always cousins here,
They're
isn't
always
it?
better than you. They are better than you.
I thought it was just certain families. So everybody had got the cousin thing?
No, I've got cousins as well.
I think parents are just trying to make you, work hard, but it does do an effect. And you grow up thinking, well, look what that cousin is now.
But you know what? You always tend to feel that you are always lower than that cousin.
Yes. Yeah. And that is a very bad way to bring up children, kind of, because because your whole life you're trying to prove yourself.
Yes.
And some people will do it that way. They'll keep on trying to prove themselves. Some people won't prove themselves and just go, well, what does it matter? I'm a failure. That's what they tell me all the time. So I'll just be a failure.
Go and adopt the cousin if you...
Yeah, go live with the cousin. Exactly. But no, I wouldn't say it's one of the drives, yeah? It's not a very... I don't want to generalize.
Yeah.
Because it not everybody who's taking substance, that means their family didn't love them and they've been living in the whatever in a bad environment or in a poor environment. It doesn't matter with the environment. I mean, if you're rich or you're poor, sometimes it doesn't matter about how you were brought up. It's just something or some kind of adventure that person thinks they should go through, and then they get hooked. But yes, other times it is about parents really not being there, not being there for the child. Maybe parents being abusive with the child, or maybe a child trying to prove to the parent, look at me now. Look, I want you to just, look what's happening to me. Yeah. Sometimes they're doing that just for that attention.
And maybe it's not the main reason that would lead or main driver, but maybe it's
one of the tools.
One of the things, and maybe it just increases the risk, especially today. It just increases the risk of children going into drugs.
I think we have a call. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah.
Who is this?
How are you all?
Fine, alhamdulillah. Who is this? Safa. Yes, Safa, go ahead.
I just heard on the radio, Dr. Basma said that we have to invest in our kids and this. But I have a point. I don't know where I'm doing wrong. Okay, I have a son. He's 3 years old, 3.5, and I have a twin girls, 10 months. So my son is little bit jealous. He beats, he bites, he cries. But I'm doing my best, to keep my interest on him. Like when I come back to work, I will hug him, I will kiss him, I will say, "What did you do today?" And this. But even though I feel there is some jealousy between him and the girls. And I want to invest on him, teach him the Quran from this year, 3 and onwards. Because I know that if you teach Quran to a baby, when he grows up, the Quran will be in his heart. He won't forget it quickly. Except when they are adults, it won't be really easy to memorize. So I want to know where I'm doing mistake and what I'm doing wrong. How can I invest on my son?
Thank you, Safa.
I don't know if you got my point.
Yes, we got your point. Thank you very much, Safa.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Have a nice day.
You too. Okay, so imagine having a child, and then after a few years, or a year or two, having another child. one child. That is already a shock for the first child, right? So that's the first shock.
Honeymoon is over.
Now let's think of another shock, that that child is another gender. Okay. Now let's add a little bit of salt and pepper, and let's say it's 2, and it's different gender, and it's quite close. 3 and 10 months is not that.
2 years.
Yeah. The child could obviously go through jealousy, and I was the star, I was the one that everybody carried, and now there's 2 and they're girls, so it's hard, it's difficult. But I love how Al-Ukht Safiya is actually is coming home and is showing him, I love you, you're still my beautiful boy, and she's doing all this effort. Another effort that you could do is also ask him, what does he think about his sisters? So what do you think about these 2 sisters? He's 3 years old, but he will be able to express in a way. 3.5. So he'll probably say some stuff, and she could explain to him, talk to him. So a lot of people tell me, but he's only 3.5. What is he going to understand? He will understand. She could talk to him and tell him, you're my first son, and I love you so much. And your sisters, you will look after them because you're a good boy. So this becomes
and they're here to play with you.
Exactly. And so he feels here like I'm the boy, and I'm responsible, and I can look after my sisters because my mom asked me. And she could have those special moments where she goes out alone with him. Let's go, because you're the eldest. Let's go to the shop. It doesn't have to be something very big. Little things. Oh, you're the eldest. Come, why don't you help me do this, that, and the other? In a way, he will start to understand. Oh, I'm a person who's important to her, and she could bring stories as well. She talked about the Quran al-Kareem. She can talk about qasas from the Quran al-Kareem. She could talk about. There's a lot of stories that are actually storybooks that are made for kids. About jealousy, about sisters and brothers, and this will enhance what she wants, her points, and will get closer. And I just want to say one more point. You're doing a good job. Don't worry. Sometimes we worry too much, and maybe it's just a phase that child is going through, and he'll grow out of it. But sometimes because we read more now, and I said we're more into how to bring up a child book and all that stuff, and this psychologist said this and this. Sometimes we just need to calm down and appreciate what we are doing, believe in our strengths and what we're doing, and we'll be okay.
And we can't have perfection.
No, we can't. And I think it's a good point that Safa, right?
Yeah, Safa.
The Safa actually feels, okay, maybe there's something not right, and I need to ask. That is ala tool, that is like, you've ticked an amazing box.
Yeah.
And everything, inshallah, will be well, Safa.
I would like to add 3 points to what you have said, just in to answer Safa's questions. One is you could start teaching your child about not being jealous and about responsibility even before you give birth. As soon as you know that you are pregnant and you have a little child, keep the child involved in everything you do. In shopping for the clothes, even when you have the movements in your tummy, let the child feel it.
Yeah.
Talk to your child that this is inside.
To
you have beautiful brothers
definitely.
and sisters there.
Yeah.
Would you like a brother or would you like a sister?
Yes.
Involve the child in everything. I have a child, and after 1.5 years, I was blessed with the other child.
Yes.
After 1 year and 9 months, the third one came. After exactly 2 years, the fourth one came.
So they didn't have time to get jealous, did they?
It's not about that, but their mother did an absolutely brilliant job in keeping them involved
with each other,
with the pregnancy.
Great.
She wasn't enjoying it as a mother herself, but she was keeping all the family intact and enjoying that pregnancy, including the little children.
Yes.
And that played a major role, I think, in not being jealous. Secondly, the second point about Quran is a brilliant idea. Teach your Quran, teach your child Quran. But one thing, remember, do it yourself.
Yes.
Don't let anyone else do it. Don't take him to a school. It's a big mistake. You are the best school for your child, especially when it comes to teaching Quran. Thirdly, I wish that your workplace would give you more time, more maternity leave, because you have 2 beautiful children. Twins, and you have an elder brother, a 3-year-old. They need you more than anything else. If there is any way you can take a sabbatical leave, if you can afford that, I personally would encourage you, do that.
I would like to add one more point, is to observe the child, the 3-year-old, and to make sure that everything is safe. Because I have a friend who has the same case, but not with twins. He has a boy, 3.5, and he was blessed with a daughter. And one day the mother was changing the diapers of the baby, and the boy was standing there watching from a distance. And the mother went into the toilet to get something. And when she came back, there was something wrong with the baby. And the boy immediately said, I am not the one who put the cotton in her mouth.
Oh, Lord.
So I don't know what he was trying to
Maybe
do.
Maybe she was crying.
Yeah, so he put the cotton into her mouth. And the mother didn't know, but she felt that something is wrong. And when she changed, her facial expression changed. The boy, said, "I'm not the one who put the cotton in the mouth." Said, okay.
And the baby's.
And the baby.
Is the baby fine? This is my stress now. Is the baby fine?
So Safa, please keep away all cotton and all stuff away from your.
And keep in mind, Safa,
yeah.
you're doing a good job. Just don't pressure yourself too much, because if you pressure yourself too much, you will not be able to look after them.
I think we need to talk about the guilt as well.
Yes.
From the parents.
Yeah.
We don't give our children enough love, and then they go and get love from somewhere else, and they end up smoking or being addicted to drugs or vandalizing things, and then you reach to an extent where you feel the guilt that I should have done something.
That is true. It's kind of difficult to let go of guilt when you're a parent.
Yeah.
And I always tell my sister. So my mom, God bless her, she's never actually hit me in my life. And she's been such an angel all my life. But she does this very miraculous thing where she takes me on that guilt ride. And sometimes I say, this guilt ride? I would rather get hit. So she'll be like, do you remember when you were small and I did this to you? Do you remember I did this and this and this? And you remember when you used to ask me so many questions? And I used to answer. So now when I ask on you, so she'll ask me questions like, Mommy, you just asked me that question. I'm like, so you've forgotten. So this makes me go dun da da da. So sometimes the guilt trip is an eye opener sometimes for a parent. And I've noticed a lot of parents when they know their child is taking drugs or something, and they will come because they want to help the child, but then they will do anything. They will either go extreme and lock up the child big time, or they will let the child do whatever they want to do so they don't go back to drugs.
Yeah,
which is wrong. Because sometimes some children use that, so they'll be like, no, I'm not on it anymore. But if you do this, Mom, I'll continue not being on it. And the mother doesn't know. So she lets the child, for example, do stuff. And then, no, he actually hasn't got well yet. Addiction is a very hard thing to get over. And it is messed up for the teenager himself or the child himself, because it's an emotional, physical, everything is messed up. And until all of that is actually settled, it takes time. It takes time. And they just need to feel that one golden thing, that we are here for you and we love you. And some of them use that and they do get well. Some of them use that as a power. They're like, oh, they love me anyway, so I'll just do this and they'll let me do whatever I want.
You said something very important, and I think we need to emphasize more and more on this, is that we should not give up on our children.
Never.
No matter what happens, any circumstances they go through, we should be with them to the end. And it's never too late. If you're a parent and you have not expressed love to your child, it's never too late to do it now.
And a mother and a father, because I sometimes realize that the father can kind of give up, in a way, and the mother will still continue. Here the boat becomes a bit rocky because it's only laying on one side. It needs to be together. We start this together. You decided to have children together. Go on with it until the end.
And he expresses this to the mother, and in front of the children, saying that he's your child now.
Yeah, I only have 4 children now. I don't have 5, for example. And then that child just thinks, oh well, it's spoiled anyway. Kharbana. I'll just go on with what I'm doing. And then the mother will say, no, but your father loves you. No, didn't you just hear him?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that we need to work together as parents. It's in everything, even in love and teaching love. It's not just one-sided. Sometimes it's the dad as well. I'm not just saying that the mother is the Hulk Hogan and the dad is sometimes even the dad is, mashallah, quite strong. It needs two together, because it started with 2.
previously we spoke about both parents should be on the same page.
Yes.
So I think this starts at a very early stage of marriage.
Definitely.
When the couple sit together and talk,
or just
and
decide
discuss and decide.
Yeah.
And if they don't have this connection from the beginning, then everyone raised the child in a different way.
And you notice what people say when they get married. They just go, so how many kids do you want? And how many kids do you want? But they don't go, so how are we going to bring them up? So we're going to talk about. It's like, how do you want a boy or a girl first? Or do you want... So why don't we add these topics?
We have a million calls.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you, brother?
Alhamdulillah.
Dr. Hilal, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, Dr. Wa'id.
Yes,
I
Dr.
wanted
Hilal.
just to share 2 points if possible.
Yeah.
One of the things with experience with 7 children.
MashaAllah, alhamdulillah, Allah yabarak fihim.
Alhamdulillah, thanks to my wife being patient.
Inshallah. I'm sure you're also there for her. Inshallah.
Alhamdulillah. One thing to avoid or to prevent jealousy between siblings, between the newborn and the elder one, not to be overprotective for the new one. So that elder sibling is very observant during that time and sees everything we do. So if we're overprotective for the younger one and we are worried that he might hurt him, then that's where I think the problem starts. So he feels, oh, he's the new one, he's protected, he's loved, and I'm out of the place. So I think that's one thing we should be very careful, and it's a challenge again, how to do it, because we don't want to give him the full space to do whatever he wants with the younger one.
Yes.
But at the same time, I think involving him sometimes just to touch the baby, to try and maybe while sitting to touch him, to carry him while observing.
Yeah.
Second thing, we're talking about, loving the child till the end.
Yeah.
Or being with the children till the end and try to be supportive. I think one thing about love to tell them that as parents we are the most, or how to frame it, we are the best people or the most people who love you than anybody else outside. So just even this, and in case if they're in trouble, and they, of course they would be worried to open that to the parents because they would tell them, even if there's any problem that happens, just be confident that we'll be supporting you. Don't hide it and don't let it be even more an issue.
Dr. Hilal, I wanted to ask you something. Sorry. Go on. I'll tell you. I wanted to ask you
those
something.
Are the 2 points, and I'll let you to...
Okay. I'd like you to enlighten us now, because mashallah, you have 7 children. Tabarak al-Rahman ya Rabb. Please tell us, how do you show them that you love them, the 7 children? Because this was a question we asked earlier, and it's good to know from you, because you're in that position, and I'll learn from you. I want to learn from you. So you tell me, because I have 3 children, and I want to know.
Thank you very much. I think it's a challenge,
yes,
as you mentioned before, but it's giving time and to be a good listener. I think every child of them, every one of them will like to share a story, what happened in that day, and they will compete with each other. Whenever you come from work, they will want to come to you and speak. I think it's giving turn, the way you prefer to do it, and being a good listener. And again, it's a shared job between the father and the mother, and we're having big families. I think that makes it easier for us. We have the grandfather, with the parents.
So you have support, which is wonderful.
Exactly, the support,
Thank you so much.
By the way, I'm a physician, so most of my time I was a student, and then I started working.
So that's why you're appreciating your wife. I got it.
So my wife, really, I thank her a lot for supporting me to complete my steps and to take care of the children.
Allah yawaffakum daima, inshallah.
It did very well.
Dr. Hilal, thank you so much. Unfortunately, we're running out of time, and I think we have dozens of calls. Can we take one last one?
Shukran,
Thank you, Dr.
Shukran,
Hilal.
Doctor. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. No? We lost all the calls? Okay. Any last words?
I just want to say something for my last word. I just remembered when I go home as well. Sometimes I feel, Transformers, how things go onto their arms, and I feel when I go home, and I have 3, mashallah, tabarak rahman, I just feel that each one of them latches onto me. So one on the hand, the other one on the hand, one on the leg, and it feels like you have these weapons. So I can't imagine if you have more, mashallah, tabarak rahman.
I we'll take a last call. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Fine, thank you. You're our last call for today, and we have a few minutes.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
I'm happy also to be on my last, but I'm happy to talk to your people.
Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. Go ahead, sister.
Yeah, I just hear the lady which is with you, I don't know her name, she talk, the father and mother, they should together until the end.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
But if it happens, the father and mother, they are not together until the end, and mother should suffer with the kids alone. Okay?
Yes.
Alhamdulillah, for me, I take care about my kids, and I was having 5 kids. Okay.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes. Yes, go ahead.
Alhamdulillah, and I love of them all together. I take care when my husband, he left me. My big son, he was 10 years, and now he's 28.
MashaAllah. Then,
okay, and all I love them. The problem I have, they are good until now.
Yeah.
Okay, the problem I have with them, the salah.
Praying.
Yes, for the praying.
Okay, sister, we're running out of time. Thank you very much for your call, and I will leave a few seconds for Basma to address your question, and then we'll wrap up the show. Thank you very much. Basma, you have the last
So
words.
in everything we talked about, there's always that percentage that would be, a bit different. For example, now what I'm hearing from the lady, mashallah, and you're able to look after your kids, and I have no doubt about that you will, and you did, mashallah. I mean, from 10 to 28, that's a good job. But even if you're, for example, separated, that the father's still around. He's still around. He should. I'm going to say should, because it doesn't always happen. Should be there. There's also the circumstance of if la samahallah, somebody was not around in the world, so had died or something. That's other, we can see an uncle or an aunt or someone who can help us. The thing is, I'm talking about the norm, let's say, the 2 parents. But if you don't have, the luxury of having those 2 parents together, you do need help. You do need that kind of support. And thank you very much. And they're doing this with their hand. That means I should stop.
Yes. Okay. If we haven't answered your question fully regarding prayer, please tune to our show on Saturday.
Yes.
We will attempt and answer these questions, particularly about Salah, on Saturday, inshallah. If not, we'll have a totally complete show about that, inshallah.
Thank you very much, all our listeners. Thank you very much, Sayyida Basma Al Saeed. And see you on Saturday, inshallah. From me, Hatim Al Absalam.
And Wa'il Al Harrasi. Assalamu alaikum. الأخبار
The modern family. Let us bridge the gap between generations. Let us shape up the modern family.
I remember when I first met you, I felt that God answered my call. There was that one